The Great Migration refers to the mass movement of African Americans from the rural southern United States to urban centers in the North, occurring primarily between 1916 and 1970. This monumental shift marked a seismic change in the demographic landscape of America, as approximately 6 million African Americans left the South in search of better opportunities, safer living conditions, and a chance to escape the pervasive, oppressive systems at play. In the early 20th century, Southern states were characterized by the harsh realities of Jim Crow laws, which enforced racial segregation and disenfranchised African American citizens. These laws institutionalized racism and limited access to quality education, healthcare, and employment opportunities. The economy of the South was predominantly agrarian, heavily reliant on tenant farming and sharecropping, which left many Black families trapped in cycles of poverty. Low wages for labor-intensive work and the constant threat of violence from white supremacist groups created an unbearable environment for many. Factors such as the decline of agriculture due to mechanization also played a significant role. The introduction of machines in the cotton fields reduced the demand for manual labor, leaving countless Black workers without jobs or means to support their families. Facing economic insecurity and social persecution, many individuals began to seek a new life in northern cities that promised industrial jobs and a sense of community. This search for a better life was fueled by recruitment efforts from northern industries, which were actively seeking workers to fill vacancies created by World War I and the subsequent economic expansion in the post-war years. Promises of jobs, higher wages, and less racial discrimination in urban areas lured countless families northward. Newspapers and word of mouth from those who had already migrated painted a different picture of life beyond the Mason-Dixon line, one that hinted at greater possibilities. The primary push factors at play during this period were primarily socioeconomic in nature. However, they were also intertwined with the cultural and social aspirations of African Americans. Many left their homes not only to escape poverty and oppression, but also to pursue a sense of dignity and agency, a chance to assert their identities outside the harsh realities of the segregated South. As families packed their belongings and boarded trains, heading to cities like Chicago, Detroit, New York, and Philadelphia, they were embarking on journeys filled with both hope and uncertainty. These migrations were marked by the search for freedom, both physically and economically. In the North, African Americans encountered a complex landscape of opportunity and continuing racial prejudice, yet they also found burgeoning Black communities that formed the bedrock of cultural and social life in these urban environments. The Great Migration fundamentally transformed the cities it touched. It contributed to the development of vibrant cultural epicenters, including the Harlem Renaissance in New York, and spurred the growth of new social and political movements. This period marked a significant chapter in American history, as it not only reshaped urban populations, but also laid the groundwork for the civil rights struggles that would follow. Understanding the Great Migration is crucial for contextualizing current conversations about immigration and urbanity in America today. Just as African Americans sought refuge and opportunity, contemporary immigrants continue to influence the demographic and cultural fabric of urban life, echoing the resilience and aspirations of those who came before them. During the Great Migration, several northern cities emerged as primary destinations for African Americans seeking improved living conditions and job opportunities. Chicago, Detroit, New York City, and Philadelphia were among the key urban centers that experienced significant demographic shifts due to this influx. Chicago became one of the most prominent destinations. The city's burgeoning meatpacking industry and manufacturing sectors drew many African Americans, offering them jobs that were often not available to them in the South. The promise of higher wages and better living conditions was a powerful incentive, despite the challenges of finding housing and facing racial discrimination. Detroit also saw a tremendous growth in its Black population, largely fueled by the automotive industry's rapid expansion. The Ford Motor Company's assembly line, which revolutionized manufacturing, created numerous jobs that attracted thousands of African Americans from the rural South. New York City, with its diverse economy and established Black communities, provided another vital destination. Harlem became a cultural epicenter during the migration, giving rise to the Harlem Renaissance, a flourishing of African American arts and culture that would have a lasting impact on the city and the nation. The influx of African Americans into New York altered the city's demographic landscape significantly, contributing to the diversity that characterizes it today. As these cities transformed, they also faced challenges related to the rapid demographic changes. Housing shortages became a pressing issue as African Americans often found themselves confined to overcrowded neighborhoods. In Chicago, for instance, neighborhoods like Bronzeville emerged as vibrant centers of African American life, characterized by entrepreneurial spirit and resilience. However, racial tensions escalated as competition for jobs and housing intensified, leading to incidents of violence, notably the Chicago race riot of 1919. The psychological impact of migration on individuals and families was profound. Many migrants left behind generations of history and familiarity in exchange for the uncertainty of urban life. Yet the desire for autonomy, community, and a better future drove them forward. The migrants brought with them rich cultural traditions, which began to reshape the urban identity of these cities. Music, literature, and art flourished within the new communities, contributing to a growing sense of identity and pride. Job opportunities in northern industrial cities were a significant pull factor during the Great Migration. Many African Americans sought to escape the agricultural economy of the South, which had been marked by exploitative labor practices and economic instability. The appeal of stable, well-paying jobs in factories and the promise of upward mobility were compelling. However, it is essential to acknowledge that this migration was not without its barriers. Discrimination persisted in the workplace, and often the jobs available to African Americans were the least desirable positions, still subject to prejudice and inequality. As cities transformed, the cultural contributions of African Americans became increasingly visible, influencing music, literature, and social movements. These patterns of migration and the resulting demographic changes set the stage for the civil rights movement of the mid-20th century and continue to shape urban landscapes today. Understanding the historical context of this migration helps illuminate present-day discussions surrounding immigration and urban challenges, revealing patterns of resilience and the ongoing quest for equality and opportunity in American society. As African Americans settled in northern cities during the Great Migration, they profoundly transformed urban culture, leaving an indelible mark on music, art, and literature. In places like Chicago and Detroit, the infusion of new energy and creativity from Southern migrants gave rise to vibrant cultural scenes that celebrated African American heritage while challenging the status quo. One of the most significant cultural movements that emerged during this period was the Harlem Renaissance, which came to prominence in the 1920s. Although centered in Harlem, New York, its effects rippled across other cities such as Chicago, Detroit, and Philadelphia. The Harlem Renaissance was characterized by an explosion of artistic expression, where African American writers, musicians, and artists sought to redefine their identity and convey their experiences through their work. Figures such as Langston Hughes and Zora Neale Hurston articulated the complexities of Black life in a society rife with discrimination and inequality, crafting narratives that resonated with both Black and white audiences. In music, the Great Migration also catalyzed the emergence of new genres such as jazz and blues. These musical forms often blended African rhythms with European harmonic structures, resulting in fresh sounds that captivated audiences. Artists like Louis Armstrong, who found a home in Chicago, and B.B. King, who brought his talents to Detroit, popularized these genres, infusing them with a distinctively urban character. Jazz clubs and blues venues flourished in neighborhoods often referred to as the Black Belt of cities, becoming cultural hubs where African Americans could congregate and express their creativity. Moreover, the visual arts flourished during this period as well, with African American artists gaining recognition and challenging prevailing racial stereotypes. The creation of organizations like the Harlem Artists Guild allowed for collaborative support, while individual artists, such as Aaron Douglas and Augusta Savage, challenged the narrative by incorporating elements of their African heritage into their work. They played a crucial role in reshaping the perception of African Americans in arts, emphasizing their contributions to American culture. The cultural transformation brought about by the Great Migration in northern cities did not occur in isolation. It was interwoven with the broader social dynamics of the time, including the push for civil rights. Cultural expressions became intertwined with political movements, as artists used their platforms to advocate for social justice and equality. The burgeoning civil rights movement found an echo in the works of poets, musicians, and writers who highlighted the struggles and aspirations of African Americans. Cities like Chicago and Detroit became melting pots of innovation, with African Americans contributing significantly to the local cultural identities. In Detroit, the Motown sound showcased a blend of rhythm and blues that transcended racial boundaries, establishing a distinct musical legacy that continues to influence artists today. Chicago nurtured the growth of house music and the blues, celebrating the diverse backgrounds of its musicians while fostering a sense of community among residents. As these cities adapted to the changing demographics, the cultural influx brought about by the Great Migration set the stage for future generations to express themselves and push the envelope further in the ensuing decades. Understanding this cultural legacy is essential in recognizing how the experiences of past migrations shape current urban identity and community dynamics, reflecting ongoing themes of resilience, creativity, and social responsibility that resonate in today's discussions about immigration and diverse urban landscapes. The Great Migration had profound and lasting effects on the infrastructure and demographics of northern cities, as African Americans settled into urban centers like Chicago, Detroit, and New York. They transformed the cultural and economic fabric of these cities. By the 1970s, African Americans constituted a significant portion of the populations in these urban areas, driving demand for services, housing, and employment opportunities. This demographic shift forced cities to adapt and expand their infrastructures, leading to the development of new neighborhoods and the revitalization of established ones. The migration also created a ripple effect in labor markets, significantly contributing to the industrial workforce as African Americans filled jobs in factories and manufacturing plants. This influx not only bolstered the economy, but also began to shift the socioeconomic dynamics within these cities. However, the rapid urbanization also presented challenges, including overcrowding, housing shortages, and tension in race relations as communities struggled to integrate. These developments laid the groundwork for urban challenges that resonate today, echoing issues faced in contemporary immigration patterns. In many ways, the experiences of African Americans during the Great Migration parallel the stories of modern-day immigrants from diverse backgrounds seeking opportunity in U.S. cities. Today's immigrants often face similar challenges, such as the need for affordable housing, access to jobs, and the complexities of navigating social integration in large urban environments. As cities continue to attract new populations, the historical context of the Great Migration helps us understand the dynamics at play of resilience, adaptation, and the ever-evolving nature of urban identity. One parallel that stands out is the cultural contributions of these immigrant groups to urban life. Just as the Great Migration fueled the Harlem Renaissance and gave rise to new artistic movements, contemporary immigrant communities are influencing the cultural landscape through food, music, art, and festivals, enriching the city's fabric. The revitalization of urban neighborhoods often reflects a mosaic of cultures, where longtime residents and newcomers come together, each group bringing unique perspectives and traditions that enhance the city's character. Moreover, the challenges of social integration remain a critical issue today, just as they did during the Great Migration. Communities must navigate the complexities of identity, belonging, and social equity. Understanding these historical foundations allows for a more informed discussion about contemporary issues surrounding immigration and urban planning. The resilience displayed by the African American community during the Great Migration teaches valuable lessons about advocacy, community empowerment, and the pursuit of justice that resonate with current urban debates. In conclusion, the legacy of the Great Migration continues to shape urban landscapes and cultures in America. It serves as a reminder that cities are constantly in flux, molded by the movements of those seeking a better life. As we reflect on these historical migrations, we gain insights into how they have informed modern urban challenges, providing context for the ongoing discussions about immigration, identity, and community in our evolving society. By learning from the past, we can better navigate the present and future of our urban spaces, ensuring they remain vibrant and inclusive for all who seek to call them home.